Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and today I am doing the Monsterathon tag. So if you don't know, I am really enjoying myself making my way through the Monsterathon, which is running all of September. It's not too late to join. It's hosted by Chapter Kate and 8 other hosts as well. I will leave the links down below, but it is focused on monsters, and specifically this round is where monsters hide. So each of the prompts is a place that a monster may hide. So for my TBR for September, I did have some monster books, but then also a lot of other types as well. But for today's recommendations video, this is books which feature exclusively different types of monsters. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So first, I'm gonna start with the conspiracy challenges. So first up is Area 51, a book with mutants or aliens. So for this one, I'm going to recommend The Book of Phoenix by Nnedi Okorafor. This is 0.05 in Who Fears Death. You are following a main character in this who is kind of a mutated human woman who has been experimented on to the point where she can withstand and generate great heat as a nuclear explosion and then rebirth herself like a phoenix. But this book is so much more than that. So you journey from the tower where the scientific experiments take place to different areas around America, to Africa, and back again. And I really enjoyed this book, and I'm greatly looking forward to the second one in this series. The next challenge is Rearview Mirror, read an indie book. For this, I'm going to recommend Elizabeth by Ken Greenhall. So this is following Elizabeth, who is 12 and then 14, and she has been being sexually and emotionally abused by her uncle. So if those are triggers that you don't like or can't handle, definitely don't pick this book up. But when her parents die and she is sent to live with her grandmother and her aunt and uncle, she starts to see an ancestor of hers in the bedroom mirror. And the ancestor imbues her with certain magical powers, and things go from there. There are a lot of elements in this book that can be read one way or the other, depending on if you believe Elizabeth and her point of view. So I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was excellent, and it is quite short. The cover is also amazing. I just really highly recommend it in general, but do know it has a ton of triggers, so definitely check it out on Goodreads and look for those triggers if you are sensitive to them. The next challenge is Upside Down, to read a retelling. For this, I'm going to recommend different Frankenstein retellings. So one that I recently read for the Spooky Smart Bitch Readathon is Frankenstein by Junji Ito. This is a graphic novel retelling of Frankenstein. I also have The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White, which is a retelling of Frankenstein through Elizabeth Frankenstein's perspective. Highly recommend. And one that I haven't read yet, but that I'm keeping for my October TBR, this is Victor LaValle's Destroyer, again, an illustrated novel. I love Victor LaValle's storytelling abilities, and I love the illustration style here by Dietrich Smith and Joanna Lafuente. So I highly recommend any of these retellings. I think that they're gonna be just amazing and absolutely fabulous if you like Frankenstein like I do. So next up is The Bunker, read a book with disability rep. For this one, I'm going to recommend The Deep by Rivers Solomon. So this is, again, another one to definitely check triggers depending on what you are sensitive to. So in this one, we're following a main character who is the historian for her people, who are a race of water dwellers who are descended from African slaves which were thrown overboard during transit. And she stores the memories of her people, and the people only experience the memories for a short period every year, whereas she holds the memories for her people all year long. And even before she became the historian, she had anxiety and panic attacks and other unspecified mental health disorders. And so becoming a historian really is not the best for her, but she's trying to do her best until one day when she becomes totally overwhelmed and just wants to get away from it all. And then the story goes from there. So I really enjoyed this. It was really heavy hitting and gave me a lot to think about. The writing style is really unique. There are 2 points of view, and I just found it very fascinating overall. So if that sounds at all interesting to you, I would recommend this. It's not directly mermaids, but it is ocean-dwelling people, if that makes sense. So next I'm gonna get into the haunts challenges. This one is under the bed, a Black, Indigenous, or person of color you have been sleeping on or who is new to you. So I'm going to recommend one I think you probably haven't read, and this is All You Need Is Kill. So this is a Japanese translation following a Japanese soldier who is unfortunately reliving the same day over and over of an alien invasion, which is massacring the area. So him and the soldiers need to relive this day over and over and over again to figure out how to kill them and stop the cycle. This was really good. I think there was a movie with Tom Cruise based on this movie, but I don't think a lot of people have read the Japanese original, so I highly recommend this. Like I said, it has aliens, but it also has really great fight scenes. Next up is Neighbor's House. Someone else pick a book. So if I'm gonna pick a book from my shelves, one I haven't recommended recently, but that is really weird and full of monsters, is The Vorrh by Bryan Catling. So this is kind of a chunky book, but it's worth it. It's very weird and you just have to kind of go with the flow, but I keep thinking about it over and over again because it opens with a man who is fashioning arrows from the bones of his dead lover, and he shoots the arrow into the heart of the nearby jungle, and we go from there. And it says there are sentient and magical beings, a place of demons and angels, warriors and priests. The Vorrh forest bends time and wipes memory. That's just like a small part of it. There are so many different threads in this. I highly recommend it. It is weird. It has a lot of different types of beings, and I just haven't talked about it recently, so here you go. Next up is Secret Crypt. Read a book which has a mystery element. For this, I'm going to recommend to you guys Under the Skin by Michel Faber. I really enjoyed this book, and I had to pick up this specific copy because it's a windshield wiper and then a face. I absolutely adore it. I think it's beautiful. So in this one, we are following a woman who is traveling through the Scottish Highlands, and she picks up hitchhikers. And as she drives along the winding roads, she is listening to their stories, and a very unexpected thing happens after that. I'm not going to say anything else because that's the huge mystery element. In fact, this book veered so much in another direction that I was pleasantly shocked and very surprised. So the last haunt challenge is A Moment of Peace, read a comfort read. For this one, I'm going to recommend A House on the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. So this one is following an orphanage inspector who goes to an orphanage which houses very dangerous magical beings. Among those children at the orphanage are a green blob, which really wants to be a bellhop, a garden gnome, a forest pixie or sprite, the Antichrist, and a tiny wyvern, which is a cat-sized dragon. I'm dead. I love it. And also a were-Pomeranian. This is just absolutely adorable, and it does have queer elements as well. It's just charming, and I highly recommend it. So next up, let's talk beast challenges. I want to talk about Must Swamp, a cover you like. So for this, I'm going to recommend The Electric State by Simon Stalenhag. Not only do I love the cover here, I love all of the insides. This is the art style. It's very surreal, dystopian, dreamlike, just wonderful. Love to see it. Creepy as anything. But this is a world where we are in an post-apocalyptic tech future America, where we're following a girl who is traveling across the country with a robot by her side, and basically what was once a computer system that people could log into and wear the helmet has now kind of morphed into something a lot more dangerous. And the ending totally made me tear up, and I absolutely love Simon Stalenhag. He wrote it and illustrated it. He's a Swedish writer, and it's absolutely wonderful. Highly recommend. So next up is Whispering Woods, a book that is underhyped. For this one, I'm gonna do Friday Black by Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. and this is absolutely amazing. It's a series of short stories which feel so much like Black Mirror. So if you like Black Mirror, this is for you. I once saw a comment that was like, 2020 has made Black Mirror a reality, and honestly, that's what Black Friday feels like. So I believe there are a few in here which deal with science fiction and technology monstrosities. So if that sounds at all up your alley, I highly, highly recommend it. So my penultimate recommendation is for Lair of the Babadook. Read a book which has queer rep in it. So for this, I am going to go ahead and recommend The Lamb Will Slaughter the Lion by Margaret Killjoy, who is a queer trans femme author. And this book is so good. It's so small. I picked it up randomly from the library one day, and I was so pleasantly surprised. So we're following a main character who is setting out to find her friend, who was seen in this town where everyone kind of lives anarchist lifestyles, where there isn't a government, there isn't like money, everyone kind of barters and trades for things, and it's very peaceable, except that they also made a pact with a demon in order to keep their town safe from outside forces. And then things go wrong with the demon. And it's so good. It's really, really good. I want to read the second one. I hope that the library is open again soon, because this was just such a pleasant surprise. And the queer rep in here, there is a lot. Like in the cast of characters, there are queer relationships. And like I said, the author is part of the queer community as well. The last book here that I want to recommend to you guys is possibly the one that I recommend the most highly, because I just loved it so, so much. This is for Hydra's Hangout, to read a book with mythology. I recommend Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, who is an American Indigenous author. This book is so freaking good. We are set in the future where there was a big flood, and basically only some indigenous reservations and isolated communities survived, and a lot of other areas were wiped out or completely flooded and devastated. So we are following a main character, Magdalena, Mags for short, who is a monster hunter, because in this world, basically indigenous gods, spirits, and different types of deities and clan, like mythological beings, walk among humans. And so she sets off on this adventure to kill these really dangerous beings which are feeding on people and killing them. And so there is just so much monster rep in here, also like indigenous and voices rep. Also, the story is just amazing. I highly recommend the audiobook. That's how I consumed the first book, and the second book is on my challenge for this challenge, which is Storm of Locusts. So I absolutely cannot wait. I hope that I told you guys about some new books that you could check out if you like monsters, or if we just have similar reading tastes at all. I hope that you are doing absolutely well. If you've made it this far, leave me a robot emoji down below, because I do love some good "we made robots to help us, but oh no, they've turned evil" plot lines. That's one of the best. Oh yeah, and please do follow me on Instagram, because I ask you guys what you'd like to see from me. I put up a poll for my next video to film, as well as very soon I will be putting up the giveaway book, and after that it will close in 24 hours. Okay, that's it. Love you. Bye.